Hi everyone, author Laura Diehl here, and I want to share something with you, and it's about God working things for our good. I know that's a rough scripture on a lot of grieving parents, and I want to encourage you specifically about this scripture. And I was talking to a friend the other day, a bereaved mom, and she mentioned that this scripture has been her anchor. It has been the scripture that has been the promise that she has hung on to. And I think that's kind of unusual because a lot of grieving parents, they want to get rid of the scripture. They're angry at God, and I'm not going to go into that here, but this scripture just makes no sense. I just want my child back. I don't want God to work it out for good. I just want my child back. And we can't, it feels like it's impossible. The death of my child, it's impossible for something good to come from that. And I understand that. And I want to share with you, I want to encourage you, don't throw that scripture out. Don't get rid of it. Keep it in your back pocket. Get it out. Look at it again. Claim it, because God does want to do something in your life that you can't see right now. And I understand, especially if your child has died within 1 year, 2 year, even 3 years, that's extremely fresh. And this scripture may not be something that you are ready to hold on to. But at some point, this is a promise that you can claim. And I want to share a couple different versions with you of this scripture. It's Romans 8:28, that God works everything out for good to those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. And like I said, it's like there's no way God's going to work something good. I don't want Him to work something good. I just want my child back. And let me read in the Phillips translation. It says, "We know to those who love God, who are called according to His plan, everything that happens fits into a pattern for good." God has a plan for your life. He has a pattern for your life. We do not understand why He allowed this death of our child, but there is a purpose behind it if we release, begin to move forward in the pain, and begin to call on God that you said something good was going to come of this. In the Message Bible, it says we can be sure that every detail in our lives is worked into something good. God does want to take this thing that was a result of the curse of the world that we live in. We live in a world that's under the curse, and as Christians, there are times that it does affect us, and there are times that horrible things happen. And we can't see the big picture, but God can, and He says He's going to do something with it in our lives. And I suggest, instead of continuing to ask why, which is never going to satisfy us, that we begin to ask how, God. How are you going to turn this into something good in my life? I think it's impossible, but you said you're going to do it, so how are you going to do it? And in the Voice, it says, "We are confident that God is able to orchestrate everything to work towards something good and beautiful even when we love Him and accept His invitation to live according to His plan." I did that when I was saved, and over the years I have continually accepted God's invitation for His plan for my life. And I had to believe when Becca died, when our daughter died, that for some reason He was going to work this for good in the plan of my life. My daughter is safe now. My daughter doesn't have to put up with the crap of this world anymore. I know it's still painful for me. It's my loss, but it's her gain. It really is. And it's taken me a while to really be able to get to that point where I can think more about her gain than my loss. It takes a while. It's a process. But I want to show you something good that God has worked into my life. I am now sitting in my office. I've never had an office before. The things that God is bringing me into, I've become an author. I have 5 books. One of them is through a New York publisher, Morgan James. It's in bookstores. I'm hosting a retreat for grieving parents. I've never done something like that before. The things that God is having me do have become good things in my life, in ministry and reaching out to other parents. And this little spot that I'm sitting in, I actually wrote about 2/3 of my book, my grief journey, coloring book and journal for grieving parents. I had a friend, Kelly, she owns the Kelly Richardson Learning and Wellness Center, and she offered me to come and use some space in her building to be able to focus on that. And she's expanded into half the building now, and she offered me this little space to rent from her full time. So I actually now have a full-time an office where I can come and write and be focused and do the things that I need to be doing. I love that picture. I'm just going to walk you over here for something real quick. There's my desk that I have, and over here in the little hallway I have my you can see my books and my display there. And so this is something good that God has brought into my life that I didn't have before, and I am blessed. It still hurts, but I'm blessed, and God is bringing good from the death of my daughter. And He will do it for you too. So like I said, don't throw away that promise. Hang on to it. Put it in your pocket. My pastor has something that he says that if you can't see the good yet, God's not done yet. And so I say that to you. If you can't see the good yet, God's not done yet. And with that, I want to show you this on my wall. Remember, we are here to be a light of hope in your place of darkness. Subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, share it, and we'll see you again later.